Beauty Lifestyle Network is all about beauty your way. You know, a lot of times people want you to fit into a category of what they think beauty should be. They want you to have hair like this or skin like that or dress like this. We want to give you options and say, hey, for however you want to do your beauty, we're here to help you with that. We're here to serve you with that. And that is the best way to represent your authentic self. And that's what we really want to do. We want you to be authentically you. We want you to be proud of you. We want you to be accepting of you, and we want you to love yourself. And we want to let you know that we are here to help you on that journey. Hello, welcome everyone to Beauty Lifestyle Network Live, or BLN Live. My name is Dior Metcalf. I'll be your host today, and thank you for joining us. We have a really cool show for you. We have two experts in the area of skin, makeup, and hair. So joining us today is our special guest, Jalia Pettis, to my left. And to my right, we have Charlotte Sloan. And these ladies are going to help us out today and talk about some subject that is really interesting and to kind of help you find out how do you solve your skin and hair problems. So we're going to get into that momentarily. But the first thing I want to do is make sure I thank my supporters here at Beautiful Brown Girls. They're one of the largest social media, not social media, but the largest social organizations, and they meet every month online. They have over 50,000 members, and we'd like to thank them for supporting us. We also like to thank ANAC Pro. We are doing a show with them called the Home Hair Care Series, where you get to find out all about the best tricks that experts use to solve their hair problems. That's on a weekly basis, so make sure you check that show out. And of course, we'd like to thank Sentinel Media for the production for this show and all the other shows that we're involved in. So thank you guys, and thank you for joining us again today. So we have a really cool topic today, and we're trying to find out how to solve these issues that are plaguing women of color today. So I think first of all, I want to start off with Jalia. Give us a kind of a rundown of your top issues that you think women that are plaguing women in the skin and hair realm.
There's a lot of different things out there right now, but I would have to say the things that are on the top are the things that we see trending on social media. And those are on the top, and those are trending via social media because they're right there in everybody's face. And it's something that people feel like they can attain, or, they can try at home. And it's all about, really trying to create things that are going to work best for them, but they're watching other individuals do it. So number one would have to be a consistent skincare regimen.
A consistent skincare regimen. Okay. So
Yes.
so let me ask you, so what do you think women doing right now as far as their skin regimen that you think they should be doing? Like, what are they doing? Let's find out the problem first. Or you think they just don't have a routine at all?
I think it's a little bit of not having a routine. And I also feel like it's a little bit of not cleaning their skin at all, if I'm just totally honest with you. I mean, there are so many people that I come in contact with, and I'll ask them, what do you use at home to clean your skin? And their response to me when I ask that question is water. Last time I checked, water was not a cleanser. So it kind of makes me cringe, because I'm like, no, we have to do more than water, but that's partially it. But then not being consistent with the regimen. And consistency is a big part of any regimen, whether it's skincare, health and wellness. It's across the board. You have to be consistent with whatever it is that you're doing. And I feel like people feel like they can just kind of have this microwave popcorn experience as it relates to skincare. They pop it in the microwave for 30 seconds and they want immediate results, when they have to be consistently using products to get the result that they're expecting to get. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a week. It's not going to happen in 3 weeks, and that's important for people to understand. Is your skin turns over at a rate of about between 25 to 30 days. And as you get older, that production kind of slows down as far as the turnover, the cell turnover. So you really need to give any products that you're using, especially if it's something that's new, you need to give it at least 30 days before you see any result. So it's important to have a regimen, without a doubt.
All right. So we know the first problem here is that they don't have a regimen, and they're using water instead of actually cleansers, right?
Yes. 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 Do
All
you
right.
get think about it. Do you get in the shower and just put water on you and you don't add any other agent?
So, how about you, Charlotte? What is one of the first things or mistakes or issues you see with women regarding their hair?
I think we'll stay in line, because what we are learning is that anymore in the beauty industry, we are treating the scalp like skin, because it is. And that was one of the questions I was going to ask her. The cell turnover was something. I'm like, so that's the same for scalp. And so the biggest issue, and something that is present, like she said, on the internet, is products. Knowing actually what your hair texture and hair type is. I always use the same analogy in with taking care of your scalp that she did with your skin. When you get into the shower, like you said, you use a cleanser instead of just water. You won't just get in and rub lotion all over your scalp either. And so that's the same as the co-wash. You still need to cleanse that area, because the scalp is skin. So the products is going to be one of the biggest issues, and knowing what to use, when to use it, how to use it, why to use it. I think they just, kind of go by. A lot of people do use YouTube University as their guide, as opposed to getting more professional advice. They're going by what
Yes.
Tammy said that she does to her skin every day, and it may not, her hair every day, and it may not even be applicable to your particular texture and type. Even though she's a 4C like you, it's still a lot of variables. So I think products is one of the number one issues that I would say first, and having the proper regimen with the proper products.
So
I
when
think
you
you're
say,
right. That's a big point.
mm-hmm. No, go ahead,
Yeah,
Julia.
yeah.
Leah.
I was just going to say, I totally agree with that. People look at social media and feel like one individual is going to give them the answers to all of their questions. And they're not taking
Yes.
into consideration they don't have the same skin type. They don't have the same hair type. There's, like she mentioned, there's so many factors that go into it. Or they'll hear about something and they'll want to try it, not understanding that there is a certain level of understanding that needs to come with ingredients, how your skin or your hair is going to respond to those ingredients.
Reacts.
All of those things make a huge, huge difference.
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
you're saying the knowledge of the product and how to use it is kind of was lacking as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if I could, oh, I'm sorry, what was on a little delay. If I could say, it's such a racket sometimes when it comes to, they know that we're a market, they know that we spend money, and so they go in, and you'll see a lot of these companies just targeting us, but not offering us exactly what we need. So even when we do it, it starts coming across the exact same way. Just like you were mentioning, as far as products, they absolutely will see it. 59 people will comment on it on a feed, and they'll try it. And so people are just becoming millionaires. Not that I'm hating, because we are all in the product game in a sense, But just know what you're getting, know what you need. Don't just buy frivolously to know that it's coming from a reputable source, know that you can get some product
Mhm.
knowledge. You know, all of those things are important to me when I speak to clients and consumers about purchasing products.
Yeah, there is a knowledge gap out there with these products,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
we'll talk about that in a moment. So we'll move to Jalia's next problem issue. We know your first one was the lack of cleanser or just using water on your skin. So what else
mm-hmm.
kind of issues you see out there?
So another top one that I see is related to makeup art, and it is mismatching or not understanding how to match your foundation. It doesn't matter what period of time we're in, that is one of the hardest things for people to do because, again, there's so much misinformation out there as far as how it should be done. And there's a ton of different cosmetic companies to choose from. Of course, now we're seeing more brands that are trying to be more diverse and inclusive as far as range of colors,
Mm-hmm.
but it's
Mm-hmm.
even deeper than that. So I'll give you a perfect example. When you pick up a bottle of foundation, sometimes it doesn't even have a color on it. Like it'll
Mm.
have a number and it'll have one letter. And some people are like, okay, what does this mean? What am I supposed? How do I understand what this is? So I'm going to give you a little tip here. If you see W, that means warm. If you see N, that means neutral. If you see C, that means cool. So
Cool.
it goes deeper than just picking up a product and saying, I'm going to put it on my face and see if it works. You need to know what your skin tone is. You need to know what the undertones are of your skin. And how do you figure that out? Honestly, I know we're coming out of COVID, but you really need to get at least 2 to 3 products to try before you find that perfect match. And then in that perfect match, you also need to transition those colors as the seasons change. When it's cooler outside, your skin isn't going to be as bright and luminous because you're not in the sun as much. And when it's warmer outside, your skin will not have as much of a dullness. You might be darker or warmer in tone. So all of those things are things that you need to take into consideration. And then also where to test. You're not going to test those products on the back of your hand because the back of your hand and your face
It's
are not
different
getting
than
the
the
same
face.
amount of sun at the exact same time. So all of that are things that you have to take into consideration when you are choosing a foundation and selecting what's going to be the best match for you.
Okay, I feel like you overturning a lot of myths here, especially with the back of the hand. You know, with the color
We did that
swatch.
first.
Yeah, everyone does that, right? To try to match their
Yes,
color. So you're saying the
we
color of my
do.
forearm is not the same as the color of my cheeks.
No, it's not. And think about it. We all live in different climates. I'm in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting ready to be summertime here. And that means the
Yes.
sun is going to be high and it's going to be hot a lot earlier in the day and it's going to last a lot longer in the day. So if I'm outside most of the time, my face is the thing that is uncovered the most. My face, this big old forehead, is what's going to get the most sun because that's the thing that's most exposed. When I'm walking, my hand isn't right here. So I'm not going to have this area completely exposed to sun as much as I'm going to have my face exposed to sun. So it's not going to be the same color.
Hmm. All right. Well, I like the way you broke that down, and we come back to you for your next one. But for here, I want to talk to Charla. So, Charla, we know
Okay.
the first thing, or the first problem, is people understanding the products and how to use them properly. So,
Mhm,
what's
mhm.
the second big issue you see out there with women in regards to their hair?
The second biggest issue is them not even knowing their hair type. So it's very difficult to buy anything for something you don't understand it. So a lot of people, when we got into the 4A, 3B, 3C, it kind of took the understanding out of it. And so, with taking the understanding out of it, you need to know four things, and I'm just going to give them to them right away because this is very important. Your texture, which is the diameter of your hair strand, your curl pattern, which is whether your hair is straight, wavy, curly, or coily, your density, how many hairs you have per square inch, and then also your hair condition, which is your porosity and elasticity. And so, if you can kind of know and understand those, you can pick and choose the products that you can use for your hair, what works the best for your hair. You can pick whether you can have chemicals or not have chemicals. You can set up a regimen of how often or how frequently you need to shampoo, condition, how often you can straighten, and so on and so forth. It goes on and on. The possibilities open up with the knowledge of what you have.
So, you know, according to the hair chart, people normally
Uh-huh.
do one of the things that you kind of mentioned there. So, how would they find out the information for those other categories they need to know about?
Um, it's a lot of information, but I wrote a book called The Curly Girl Bible, and I give a lot of information from a professional perspective concerning that. But you got to do some research, and it can't just be YouTube. You got to really kind of test and check to see what you have. Um, a professional should know, but I know a lot of times they begin to turn to YouTube because a lot of professionals didn't have the information. And so that sparked a whole hair care movement, and people needing to
Mhm.
know what they have to know what they need. So we have a lot of different programs coming up that are offering information about your hair, what you need to do, how you need to do it, why you need to do it, et cetera, et cetera.
And I'm glad you brought that up because you were telling me about that, and we're very excited to hopefully partner with you guys on that and bring that information out to the
Yeah,
public.
yeah.
But so I find it interesting. Ever since I grew my hair out, I know absolutely nothing about my hair other than what I see other people and I try to copy it. Right? You know, that
Uh-huh.
seems to be what people do. So if you
Yeah.
need to know about the other different things that you mentioned, I can't remember all of them. It's like four things, right?
But yeah, texture, curl pattern, density, and hair condition.
So how would I find
That's
out
that's
that
it.
information about my hair? Is that what your
I'm
program
gonna
does?
Yes, I'm gonna be doing a do-it-yourself-hair-salon.com, and we are launching that in April. And it has a quiz that has wrecked my brain like doing a dissertation to kind of figure out all the different variables for your hair type. So it'll go in and tell you based off of some questions, just 9 short questions can give you your hair type, your complete hair type, which is your texture, your curl pattern, and your density. From there, it'll shoot you information on your hair condition that will then let you know what can and will work specifically for your particular hair type, texture, and curl pattern, density, the whole nine. It'll break it all the way down for you.
All right, that sounds
That's awesome.
awesome. We can't wait till you release that. And
Yeah, I'm super excited about it.
just to kind of back up a little bit, kind of give people some background on your professional career, and then we'll do the same for you, Jalea. Okay? So let's start with you, Charlotte.
Okay.
Okay, I am a 30 plus, 35 plus in the beauty industry. I've been a salon owner for over 30 years. I've been an educator in the beauty industry for over 20 years. I'm an author of, and I always keep one with me, The Curly Girl Bible, and then also an author of a book called Behind the Chair, Returning to the Chair, Behind the chair is a whole nother entity. Returning to the chair, I developed a product called hydrology products because I was having a lot of issues finding what I needed, being a hairstylist for so long. And then I also do the hair oracle as a stylist, and do it yourself hairsalon.com is going to launch in April 2022.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's pretty cool. See, we bring
It's
the
a
heavy hitters.
long road.
Yeah, this is much
It's
needed
a long
information,
road.
and we appreciate you taking the time to put it together. And
Yes.
Jalia, kind of giving people some background on what you do. You got a very interesting background as well in TV and media. Kind of explain that to the audience.
So I have actually been in the industry for about 15 years. So not as seasoned as Charlotte, but for me, this is a second career. I was in corporate America before entering the beauty industry. And for me, that really helped cultivate my skills in training and development. So I also educate, but primarily I'm dually licensed in both skin and in hair. But I primarily work in industry, and I do a lot of educating at a lot of the different trade shows around the country. So I do commercial, I do film and television, I do editorial work. I'm actually a two-time NAHA finalist and the 2020 winner for International Beauty Industry Awards for culturally inspired makeup. So I keep my hands in the pot for sure, but no one day is the same for me. I have an educational platform called the Style Exhibition. I'm the owner of 3J Productions, which is basically a marketing conglomerate that deals with creatives in whatever industry that they might be in. So yes, I keep it moving for sure.
Yeah, I can
That's
tell.
awesome. Congratulations. She's busy too. I love it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were lucky to get her
Yes.
today. She's
Okay.
pretty tied up, so we'd like to thank both you ladies for joining us. But so
Yes.
we got a couple things. We got a couple more we want to talk about as far as issues that are facing women, and in particular women of color. So let's go back to Jalia. What's your third issue that women of color facing when it comes to their skin or makeup?
I would have to say it's related to skin, and it's exfoliation. Not knowing when to exfoliate and not knowing what products to use, and the difference between chemical and physical exfoliation. So we are just kind of coming out of COVID, and I say that with apprehension because, of course, every time we turn around, there's a new sorority that they're inducting for another virus. But
Oh,
we've been wearing masks, so our skin has been responding to not being in the sun as much, constantly kind of breathing in
mhm,
our own air. So I'm noticing that in this area, a lot of my clients have breakouts or they have dry skin,
mhm. All
and
this. Yeah.
they don't know why that is, and that is because of the mask. And depending on what your skin type is, and if you've been wearing masks and if you've been washing, or I shouldn't say washing, but cleansing your skin, um,
Mhm.
you should be exfoliating at least twice a week. And in that, you should think maybe every other day or every 2 days if you are somebody that has sensitive skin. I suggest every 2 days, regardless of your skin type, because too much exfoliation will cause your skin to really react in a way that you don't want. So chemical exfoliation is normally when AHAs or BHAs, there's some type of agent that's being added to the skin that's causing the skin to shed. Whereas physical exfoliation is what you can do with your hands, is microdermabrasion, is dermaplaning, is all of those types of things. So you want to be really careful with your exfoliation again. And if we're going to debunk a few myths, let's not use the St. Ives apricot scrub. Okay. That is not that is not the exfoliation that we want to do. I know that that has been on many a shelves for many of years,
Oh my God.
but it is time that we do better.
So
That is too
go into
funny.
that a little bit. Tell us why it's not a good idea to use that product.
For one, it's something that's considered over the counter. You know, it's something that you can get at any drugstore. And it's really scratching your face versus removing
Mm-hmm.
the dead skin. Because the skin is
Mm-hmm.
very raw a lot of times after that. And you don't want your skin to be raw from an exfoliating treatment. If it's reacting in a manner that is an immediate rash or an immediate redness, that's letting you know that that product is not for you. And I mean immediate as in you see it happening as you're doing it. That's letting you know that that's not the product for you. So you want to really kind of make sure that you're using more cosmeceutical products, something that has some type of a medicinal ingredient in it so that you know you're getting the good stuff. You're getting more of what you need. So yes, that does mean it's going to have a higher price point. But our skin is the largest organ on our body, and it's the first thing that it's the thing that's protecting us, you know, so you really should be doing the most to take care of it.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you kind of cleared that up. I've used an exfoliator um, at some kind of market, and as soon as I put it on my face, I broke out. In
Oh
my head, I was
wow.
just thinking, exfoliators are not for me. But apparently,
Mm-hmm.
The
it depends
wrong
on
one.
what kind you use.
The
Mm-hmm.
ingredients, yeah, you because think about how often, and Charlie, you can speak to this too. I have no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many people that are using at home and making their own ingredients. And
Yeah.
that's not to say that that's wrong, but you have to understand what you're using and what it's supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
for. Like it's not the
Mm-hmm.
same at-home remedy that our grandparents used to do. It's not the same
Mm-mm.
at all.
Mm-mm.
So like
Mm-mm.
mixing coconut oil and mixing tea tree and mixing all of these different fruits, you have to understand that you can't kind of have your own at-home kitchen if you don't know what the end result is going to be. If you think about a lot of these things that we purchase organically, they have a shelf life. And that
Right.
is something that you have to pay attention to. Just like your fruit turns brown, your organic skincare or hair care products have a short shelf life. So if you're using
Mm-hmm.
something that you don't know necessarily how it's going to react on someone, then it's probably not the thing for you. So I think maybe your issue was more the ingredients versus the actual
Mm-hmm.
act of exfoliating.
Yeah, probably so. My
Yeah.
skin is very sensitive, so but I thought that was kind of interesting, and I felt it did scratch my skin as well. So
We said
Yeah.
did everything.
I just didn't have a clue.
Uh,
You go in one of those little flea market kind of things, and they tell you to try
yeah.
something, and you just end up putting all kind of stuff for your face.
Stay
But
You gotta
away
be
from that.
particular. That's what I say. You gotta be particular.
all
I always
right.
tell them just eat the avocado. Just eat the avocado.
Right.
I know,
Just
right?
eat it. You'll
Yes.
get better. It was made to be eaten. So
so,
yeah. Wow.
so Charlotte, tell us about your third issue that you think a lot of women having with their hair.
I'm gonna say trending again. Thinning and hair loss is a big to do. Everything thinning and hair loss. Everybody all of a sudden is trying to address thinning and hair loss. But I believe we do have some hereditary things. We do have some thinning as we get older. That's going to be a natural progression. But I believe that it's a lot of what we do to our hair, what we do to it, and what we don't do to it. And so, with all of the wigs and extensions and um, everything that has traction and pulling, everything that's covering up your skin, all these adhesives and glues. I know you guys saw the girl that glued her hair down and it was stuck and they had to surgically remove it. She had a
Yeah.
forever
Yeah.
ponytail. And
Is this the lady who used the Gorilla Glue? The Gorilla Glue?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
And now she's
the
come
things that
out with
they're
a product.
doing, of course, why wouldn't she? And guess what? People are going to buy it because she has an experience, you know. So that the hair loss and hair thinning is huge. The things that cause it are, like I said, the tension and traction is a big one, from the braids and the pulling that we do. Um, I call them like bed sores that it creates around your hairline, from wigs, wearing wigs constantly, not allowing your scalp to breathe, not cleansing your scalp, going 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 weeks at a time with something completely covering your head, and not cleansing your scalp properly. All of these different things that we do lead to hair loss and hair thinning, some prematurely, you know, because of what they're choosing to do to their hair. So I would say that's the biggest, those are my biggest things with hair loss and thinning.
You know, it makes me think, do a lot of women in particular um, give enough attention to their scalp versus their hair? You know, because they're always
No,
manipulating the hair.
no, not at all. It's just like skincare now. We're coming into it more. The same is happening with hair and scalp care. We teach scalp care first. That's one of the very first things that I teach is scalp care. That was one of my other things. That was my next thing was scalp care. Um, but scalp care is so important because from a healthy hair follicle can grow healthy hair. People don't understand that if your hair follicle isn't healthy, healthy hair can't grow out of that follicle. And just like the skin, that has to be exfoliated, cleansed, and properly maintained as well. But they will keep a sew-in in 8, 10, 12 weeks sometimes without shampooing their hair. They'll keep braids in 12, 14, 16 weeks without even doing an astringent on their scalp, you know, and re-moisturizing that scalp. People will do hair that's extra heavy on the braid so that the hair integration hair to your natural hair ratio, you got 10 times the amount of hair on pulling from your hair. That causes thinning to the scalp. It's so many things that we do to our hair that really cause our hair to become thin prematurely. The chemicals, overusing chemicals, relaxer, color, overusing color is another thing. Color doesn't have to be applied to the whole strand every time, but people will do that just because they don't know. And so we address all of those things with our do-it-yourself. We're going even to teach you how to trim your ends because they're going to do it. They may as well know how to do it the right way instead of watching somebody that isn't a professional show you how to do it versus someone that's done 10,000 heads of hair show you how to do it. So I think we have to start to really differentiate our professional being and our professional opinions more so online and don't take a back seat to people that aren't the professional. I think we need to step up and really state who we are. Okay, she may have done one, but I've done 10,000, or she may have, you know, allow us to professionally guide you through the things that you want to do yourself.
You know, that is a real big issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you seem to see something you like, and you're like, "Oh, I want to get that," right? And the person who
Mm-hmm.
pulled it off on their head, but they haven't pulled it off
Yeah.
on anybody else's head, right? So
Right.
Right. Right.
we don't even know if that's a good match for your hair or your hair care.
But they're willing to try it because they don't put any value towards what do I have to lose? You know what I mean? So they'll try something that somebody showed them
Hair?
because they feel like they got the information free. Yeah,
You can
yeah,
lose your
yeah.
hair, right?
They got hair to lose. They have hair to lose. But they're not looking at it like that. They're not looking at it like that. They're looking at monetarily. You know, I'm doing this myself. I can
Mm-hmm.
do it. If it's messed up, I'll try something else. But over time, you do have hair to lose. You do have hair to lose.
Yeah, so that's the battle right now, is to make sure we have a healthy scalp so we can have healthy hair, right? All right.
I believe
So
so.
we'll come back to that. But I want to go to Jalia. So tell us your final issue that you kind of see with women when it comes to their makeup or their skincare.
Before I say that, can I kind of piggyback on what Charlotte mentioned, because she made a
Please.
really good point at speaking to people need to understand that they have to trust a professional.
Mm-hmm.
That is so integral. And I think that it's also important, if you have a hairstylist and you have an esthetician, we too should be communicating with one another, because
Mm-hmm.
there might be something happening with the skin that I know about, and there might be something happening with the scalp that she knows about. And I'm telling you to do one thing with this, with your face, and she's telling you to do something different with your scalp. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that one thing that's missing is people think that we're always in competition with one another, when we
Right.
should really and
It's
truly
ridiculous.
should be working together to get the best
Mm-hmm.
end
Mm-hmm.
result for our client. And
Customers.
I think
That's
that's
right.
super important, and it's very important. Like she mentioned, you need to trust the professional. So I know I have one client in particular. She has a team, and everybody on the team knows their role. There's one person that does hair. There's one person that does makeup. There's one person that does skin, and we all know how to reach out to each other if we're seeing something happening with that particular client. That way, everybody can address it for them across the board. So I really feel like that's super important.
Yes.
Yeah.
And very and also I think it's important that the professionals are professional. That's a part of the problem. I think we completely left out a whole sector when the natural hair movement kind of started, the curly hair movement kind of started. Professionals were not up on it. And so they kind of took to themselves to say, okay, well, they can't address my issues. I got to figure it out myself, which is why we have so many different networks and groups and forums and all these things where people just freaking trying to figure it out because the professional
Right.
did not have they didn't have the proper answers at the time because it wasn't something that they wanted to deal with. And so now that
Mm-hmm.
it's the biggest part of our industry now. Natural hair is a huge part of the industry now. And so now everybody is wanting to know the information, which is good and necessary. And so I think that we have to kind of take some accountability for why they weren't reaching out to the professional. The professional didn't have the answers
Yes.
at the time. And so now that we do, now that we have more information, and it's been a 20-year span of transitioning from mostly relaxed to mostly natural, you have a ton of information now that you can glean from and offer your clients. And these clients are not slow clients. It's a different type of clientele as well. They're smart clients because they've done research. Sometimes the clients will seemingly know more than hairstylists. And so we got to stay up on our craft and be professional so that we
Yes.
can tell them what they need to know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry, I got us all off track.
no, no problem. No problem.
No, no,
It
it's
needs
a
to be
good
said.
conversation.
Yeah, it's a
Good
conversation
conversation.
for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I did want to know what your next issue was. Uh,
So my fourth and final one is that just because a celebrity is endorsing a product does not mean that that's the product for you. There's so many celebrities out here that are putting their names on beauty products. And if we really think about it, it spiked during the pandemic because they
Of
needed another
course.
source of income just
Stream of
like
income.
everybody else did.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's just, don't take it as 5-star just because they've endorsed it. They're not the pro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. They're not the pro. They did not go to
Mm-hmm.
school and spend all of these hours educating themselves the way that we did.
So we
So
shouldn't trust
I think
Kim
that's
Kardashian.
very important.
We shouldn't trust Kim Kardashian or Jenner. Aren't they makeup experts?
I'm wearing it.
But they look so good on Instagram.
That's why people buy the products.
So what people
If
may
you
not
don't
be
have
getting.
nothing good to say, you're not supposed to say anything, which is why I'm just sitting here huffing and puffing.
We're starting stuff.
So I think part of the reason behind that is, you know, they get guidance from professionals also in their makeup lines.
Right.
So while they're doing this stuff on Instagram, there's a makeup artist right next to them, making sure it's right. And they have also learned from makeup artists, like, you know, really good ones. So then they have the benefit of the doubt that a lot of women don't get, right? And they picked up this knowledge.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
But they also have the benefit of a lot of money to invest. Yes, their knowledge is coming from professionals. Their knowledge is not coming from taking the time to educate themselves about ingredients. You know, that's not where it's coming from. And then if I'm just totally honest, like, there's been so many scenarios that I've been in on set where you're working to produce a certain look. And yes, your sponsor is XYZ, but you're not using all of XYZ's products to get to that end result.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no one product that can do everything, because if there was, we wouldn't have all of these different brands on the market.
Mm-hmm.
So you really have to really take the time to do your research. As again, it goes back to the very first thing that Charlotte and I said. You have to take time to find out what's going to work for you based on your skin, based on your hair. You have to do that. I mean, and the same thing holds true with like nails. Everybody can't get false nails or acrylic nails.
That's right.
Some people's nail beds are too thin and they can't get that, and it'll, you know what I'm saying? So there's so many different things as it relates to beauty that are not one size fits all.
So I know in Charlotte's realm of the beauty space, there's a lot of celebrities that have created hair products. So kind of tell us your thoughts on that, Charlotte.
I was right on top of that because Tracy, Taraji, Gabrielle, Issa all came out with a product at the exact. I said they got together in a group and said, "Yeah, girlfriend, listen,
right?
Let's get this money. And we get one product. You put it in your bottle. 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 Let's have a contest and see who can sell them all instead of it." And I'm not saying that they don't care about hair. I'm not saying they don't care about hair and care about makeup, or that they don't have a passion for hair and makeup. But just like she said, they have a professional doing theirs every single time. If you think that any of those looks that are on that box, and she'll do her commercial with her putting some of her products in her hair, but it is a commercial. It's a commercial. Taraji did not go to beauty school. Neither did Tracy Ellis Ross, Gabrielle, or Issa Rae. None of them. And so I don't think that they can speak to their personal experience as a Black woman dealing with her hair and being in the beauty industry and endorsing a product that is professional. We can't say that it didn't happen that way. Well, I'm sorry, my camera bumped it. But I disagree with that being your go-to thing versus someone that has tested and tried 20 years worth of products and knows hair texture, hair type, that's done thousands and thousands. It's just a different flow. I think we've been so accustomed to being sold something from celebrities. It's just always been the way. And they can come in and make a quick 10, 15 million off of products, and it doesn't matter if people buy your brand because it's you. You made a quick 5 million. Doesn't matter what the product does. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't met anybody from these lines, and I think it's selling pretty good. I think they're doing great sales, but they
Mm-hmm.
should, because of all of the people that they touch and contact, that the fan base that they have.
Mm-hmm.
They'll want to try it just because of a fan base. So, but that doesn't mean that it's necessarily a great or a good even product.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's the hype. I think it's the hype, and the hype, just like sex sales with the Kardashians. So it is what it is.
So a lot of this means that, these celebrities are kind of cluttering the market as far as determining what's a
Mm-hmm.
good product for you and what's not a good product for you, right? So I'm not even saying that they're
Yeah,
either good or bad, but it's really about if it matches you,
marketing.
right?
Yeah, there's a marketing for them.
Hmm. So,
Marketing is bigger than whether it's the best product.
hmm,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Hmm.
that's absolutely kind of like the politics. The one with the most money win, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Or the most
Yeah.
mouth. The
the
most
biggest
money or the
mouth.
most mouth. Either way. Uh-huh.
Right.
Yeah.
You hit that.
And so
Ooh, you hitting that. Yes.
the celebrities have the biggest mouth and the most money. So you have to really have and not that other people can't make it. They have different crowdfunding and all kind of stuff going on. But you gotta really get out there to get your product out there, especially if you have a great product that can really change stuff for people.
So we've kind of talked about the main issues, and I think you had one more issue out there, right, Charlotte?
I do, and I was going, but we got on that. She and I had a commonality on that last issue, so I'm glad you let me chime in on that one. But my other big one is heat damage,
Mm.
and how they have taken this heat damage thing to the hilt, to where I can't put a blow dryer on my hair, and they don't understand that sometimes you need to go in and seal that cuticle every now and then in order to keep it smooth, keep it from tangling. The more you wet your hair, a lot of people are wetting their hair with water every day, which is doing nothing but drying it
Mm-hmm.
out. The
Mm-hmm.
pH of water is going to be a little bit higher. So as soon as you wet your hair with water, you're making it dry. If you do that every single day, just because you're wearing natural doesn't mean that you're doing what's best for your hair. So the heat damage, it's not bad to, from time to time, elongate your curl pattern, lock and seal some moisture in. Oh, excessive heat is bad. Excessive anything is bad for your hair. If you're, like I said, if you're wetting it too much, that can be something that dries your hair out. If you're putting products that dry your hair out in too often, that could be bad for your hair and mess up your moisture levels. If you're relaxing too often, if you're coloring too often. So the heat damage, I think, gets a bad rap, and it's really that people don't understand the chemical makeup of how to use the heat on your hair. So sometimes it's good to use heat, just like the cold wash isn't always the best thing every time. Sometimes it's good to use some shampoo. So you have to just do it kind of in moderation, and then get a better understanding about what's causing the actual damage, which has more to do with your moisture than it actually does. Moisture and overusing heat than it does occasionally using heat for your hair. And
Yeah, that
that heat
that
damage,
issue.
and it doesn't return.
Yeah. So using heat properly, and knowing when and how much to use. Is that your one of the
Yes,
big things?
absolutely.
So
That's a huge thing.
so I get all that, and that's important. So how does that work for the we know it works for the woman who's going to the salon every week. She don't have to worry about that
Hmm.
because a professional is doing hers. How about the woman
Hmm.
who is doing a DIY? And how does she navigate this information and how much to use and when to use? Uh, is there any help for her if she doesn't have a regular stylist or professional that she goes to?
Absolutely. So do it yourself salon is like your personal hair care concierge. So you can do one-on-one class. You can do You have already pre-recorded videos that you can utilize that will show you step per step for your specific hair type. If that doesn't get it for you, you can get just a straight one-on-one, and we'll walk you through each step of what to use, how to shampoo it, how to properly rinse it, how to navigate through detangling and combing it out, what products you need to use if you're going to wear it straight versus a curly look, what setting the irons need to be on, how to properly blow dry, any and everything you need to know, all things hair, all things that you need to know about doing your own hair specifically. We offer that with DIYHairSalon.com.
Okay. So you have a ready-made solution for that. And how about you, for Jalia? When it comes to the issues that you name, let's take the last one for instance. Kind of what are some solutions to navigate the celebrity makeup line, and what's the right or type makeup for your skin?
I think regardless if it's skincare, makeup, hair care, you should be catering to you. Find out what works for you. How do you find out what works for you? You find out through trial and error. Like you mentioned, you tried an exfoliant and it felt scratchy and you immediately had a reaction. That's how you know that is not the thing for you. Now, had that gone a little bit differently, whereas you didn't have a reaction, but you noticed your skin broke out in about a week, that's letting you know that it's working. Because when it comes to skincare, anything that you're putting on your skin that's cosmeceutical, you need to give it an opportunity to draw all of the bad stuff out. And one thing that people are missing as it relates to makeup artistry is you have to have good skincare in order to have great makeup. You can't have one without the other. And you know, we talk about things that we see on social media that are trending, and one thing that is popping back up in my feed is the individuals that are using milk of magnesia on their face instead of ingesting it in their bodies. And what you ingest plays a big part in how your skin and your hair reacts.
That's
You
right.
have to be
100%.
drinking water. You have to be eating healthy. All of those things are going to play into creating a regimen that's going to help you be successful in having good skin and great hair.
Yes.
Now we talked about the importance of taking care of your skin and taking care and your scalp to to a larger extent. It's part of your skin, right? So what should people be doing to their skin? And this is for Charla. What should people be doing to their scalp, rather, to kind of increase the health of it, besides those things where they're pulling at it or degrading the scalp by with tension? Now, is there anything you can do for your scalp in particular?
Yes, absolutely. We do a whole scalp care regimen, just like a skin care regimen. We use essential oils to kind of remove the debris. We do a light cleansing on the scalp. We do astringents and exfoliation on the scalp so that the follicles are clear and the sebaceous oil gland is working the way that it needs to be able to produce a healthy hair follicle, a healthy hair strand out of a healthy hair follicle. It absolutely is the foundation of anything that you do, and making sure that the hair, that the scalp doesn't have the oil build up, which block the hair follicles, etc. There's plenty that we can do to the scalp, and it should be done for men and women, not just. We do a whole scalp and beard care regimen with DIY as well. And so we're going to be having a pamper and style session for the launch on the 24th. And so we definitely showcase our beard products as well, and how men should exfoliate their scalp and their skin, their face, and then also their beard, because there's skin under those beards, guys. So, yeah, definitely.
I agree with you. I see a lot of dry skin. I have more male facial clients than I have female. And when I comb through their beards, I can
Wow.
just see the skin flaking.
Flaking off.
So yes,
Oh man, never thought about
that's
that.
important.
Yeah, so
Yep.
people tend to
I,
think of their hair, especially maybe a guy, as just their hair
mhm.
and not the scalp, or just the
Right.
beard and not the skin under the beard.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
So now, what are some basic things? Like you named a lot of things that I'll probably have to go to you as a stylist to perform. But if I had to do the
No, no.
essential things, what are those essential things? And this is for both of you ladies that people should be doing to their skin. Now we talked earlier about just cleansing it. What besides cleansing it with a cleanser should people be doing to kind of make their skin and in turn their hair healthier? Let's start with you.
It's the same process, isn't it, Jalia?
Okay.
It is.
It's the same
It starts
process.
with this.
It starts with this.
Well, some people, may have a dry flakiness or dandruff problems or
Mm-hmm.
have irritated
Oily.
skin or oily. Like I have oily skin.
Mm-hmm.
So with me,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have to wash my face a lot, my hair a lot,
Yeah.
so it won't attract a lot of dirt and stuff like that. But then the question becomes, how do I put the moisture back in for both my skin and for my hair? So let's have you ladies kind of talk about that. Let's start with you, Jalia.
So just because you have oily skin does not mean that you're not supposed to moisturize. You absolutely still have to moisturize. Now it comes to a point where you have to decide what type of moisturizer to use. So maybe you're not using something that's oil based, maybe you're using something that's water based. So you really need to, again, how do you determine if you have oily skin? Is it your entire face or is it just your T-zone?
Right.
Is it after you work out or is it every day, all day? It doesn't matter. You look like you shining like new money. What is it that is causing that overproduction of oil? And if you wash I keep saying wash, but if you cleanse your skin more than twice a day, you're causing your skin to dry out more. You should be cleansing your skin at least twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. So you want to add serums at night because those are going to penetrate your skin better, because when your skin is at rest, it's doing a lot more as far as absorption of those essential ingredients that are in those moisturizers. So again, it really goes back to selecting a product that's going to work best for you. If you are somebody that has oily skin, you want to still use a moisturizer, but not necessarily an oil-based moisturizer. Look at that brand and find out if they have something specifically for oily skin or for sensitive or sensitized skin, or is it for combination skin, or is it for normal skin? Look at those keywords to kind of find out where you fall in line and what you should be using specifically for you, because most cosmeceutical brands are going to have specific products to target and deal with specific things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in my head, since I had oily skin, I thought I just need to rinse it off with soap every now and then because it'll oil back up. But that's just my own thinking about it, not as an expert, of course. But
Right. If you're thinking about your own skin, if you use an oil-based cleanser, that would be okay, because oil attracts
Mm-hmm.
oil. Oil and water don't
Mm-hmm.
mix, but oil attracts
Mm-hmm.
oil. So you can use an oil-based cleanser because that's going to attract the oil that's already in your skin, and it's going to help to pull that out. But once you rinse,
Mm-hmm.
you do need to add a moisture back to it. It doesn't have to be oil-based because, of course, you don't want to present oily, but it needs to be something specifically for oily skin.
now, when you say moisture, could that include just like your everyday lotion?
Now, I'm gonna need you to be a little bit more specific as far as what you mean by everyday.
you know, you know what? I don't really use lotions, so I don't. I use cocoa butter. How about stuff like that? Cocoa butter
So,
based.
coconut oil on the face
What?
is
Not.
considered comedogenic.
Oh, okay.
So that means it's going to clog your pores. So
How
that's
about
not what you want
Mm-hmm.
to use on your face.
how about products like Shea? You know, Shea is real big right now, and everyone puts Shea in everything. Is that a good product that we should be using?
Not on your face.
I don't use any shea on my face or on my clients
And why not?
on their faces.
Too heavy.
It's very heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be very careful again about using products that are popular, that are trending. You need to understand why you should be using them and when you should be using them and what their better use is for. A shea butter and a
Mm-hmm.
coconut oil is great for your feet,
On your feet.
but that's not right. But that's
Yes.
not the best thing that you want to put on your
Elbows.
Hold on.
face.
Hold on.
Yes.
I've never heard this before about only using on
It's
your feet.
real.
So, how about these
It's not
products
bad for your hair.
in your hair? Okay.
I said
So,
it's not bad for
what
your
if you
hair in the
use
right combination.
what if you use a more diluted version of it, not 100% shea or 100% coconut? Does it make a difference still?
What does that look like? How do you know what that diluted version is? What is the ratio?
Uh-huh.
That's just like what Charlotte mentioned as far as like drying products that dry you out. Like if you look at something and it gives you a list of ingredients, like the first 5 to 10 ingredients, and really the first 5 to 6 ingredients are the ones that are the most active. So if you see alcohol in that top 5, that's something that's going to dry you out. So that's not the product that you want to use if you're trying to put moisture back into something. And then same thing with coconut oil. If you see a product that is for your skin and it has coconut oil in it and you have oily skin or you have skin that's acneic, which means that you have a lot of breakouts, that's not for you because it's going to break your skin
Correct.
out even more because you're already dealing with that particular issue. So you need to use things that are going to be best suited for your skin. Don't jump on board with these trends. All these trends are not made for everybody. You really, really need
Mm-hmm.
to take the time to educate. If you're going to educate yourself about something as it relates to social media, find out what your skin type is and what your hair type is. I think it's awesome that Charlotte has this DIY salon that's going to help people with understanding exactly what their hair type is, the porosity and all of those
Mm-hmm.
things. Because when people hear that, they're like, I don't know what that is. But so-and-so told
Yeah.
me that I can go and buy this edge control and it's going to lay my edges down.
Right.
Even edge control is not one size fits all. So you
It's
really
glue.
have to take the time to educate yourself on what works for you, not what works for everybody else.
That's
So,
right.
we can't use the one size fit all approach to beauty that we see in the supermarkets, that we go to
No.
No.
Ulta and we go to all
Not at
these
all.
places that sell these products. We can't just pick one?
Uh-uh. No.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-mm.
That's not a
So
good idea.
Not at all.
when I see a product and it says it has these oils in it, black seed oil, jojoba oil, jojoba, I forgot what it's called. There's a lot of different oils. Like, how do I know if I should be putting that on my face or on my feet?
You know what? Again, while people are researching, if they're going to research, they should research essential oils and the
Mm-hmm.
different things that essential oils can do for your skin and
That's
for your
right.
hair. Like there's some oils that are antimicrobial or antibacterial, which are great
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for itch and taking away inflammation and things of that nature. Like I'm a tea tree lover. I love some tea tree oil.
Mm-hmm.
My kids get on my case because they tell me I smell like a grandma, but I don't care because I know when I put that tea tree oil, it's going to do the job. It's going to do what I put on my skin or my scalp to do. So, that if you're going to research something, research those types of things, not because, this celebrity decided they came out with this product and they're endorsing it and they said that it's going to work on your face or your hair in 5 days and you're no longer going to have this flaky scalp or this redness in your skin, because that's not how it works. It's just not. I'm sorry. I'm just really just probably tearing up all of your past guests. I apologize. But,
You wanted to say something, Charlotte? Please go for it.
I do, and I want to add this main point. If it's moisture, it's going to be aqueous. It will have some type of water will be one of the main ingredients. Water is a moisturizer. Oil is a sealant. So if you're dry and you're putting oil on everything dry, you're just sealing in the dryness until you remove the oil, which is why you got to do it 2, 3, 5, 28 times a day. And so I always say that the scalp, like you said, oil attracts oil. We'll do a essential oil blend. I'll do a rosemary mint is one of my favorite because it does help with anti-inflammatory issues as far as the scalp and skin. Sometimes I'm not positive about the skin, but the scalp I know. And black cumin seed oil is the same thing. And so research your essential oils. Know what you're buying. Know what the best uses are for. Know that if you want to moisturize, it has to be an aqueous product. Know if you want to seal that moisture in, it needs to be an oil-based product. And the oil needs to be based on your particular scalp, which is also different from your hair. Your scalp and your hair have to be dealt with separately. I can't deal with my hair exactly the same way that I'm going to deal with my scalp. So that means you're going to need different products. We were raised on just shampooing, but shampooing dries the heck out of a scalp. So we typically will go in, I do my conditioning prior to a shampoo. So just figuring out a regimen, researching a regimen, connecting with people that are educating and not just trying to sell you products that can still steer you to a good product, but want to educate you about your hair, your skin, your scalp, all of the things that matter, and also can recommend products for you to utilize so you know that they're not just trying to sell you something.
Right. Yeah. And that's really the big thing, right? You just don't want to be sold a product. You need solutions for your particular situation.
Yeah,
so,
support.
It's been a pleasure having you ladies on tonight. And I just want to get your final thoughts on kind of everything we talked about this evening. And if you have some final words or words of advice for the audience, this would be the time to let them know. And we'll start with you, Charla, and then we'll go to you, Jalia.
Just my advice is to, like Jalia said, do your research, figure out exactly what you have, connect with some people that are wanting to educate you and actually have your best interest as far as your hair, your skin at hand, are not just trying to sell you a product, but like I said, can lead you to a product. Visit thehairoracle.com for information and training, or DIYhairsalon.com for awesome information and education about hair care. And Jalia, I'm thinking about we may need to add some skincare to that, so we'll connect. Okay.
Absolutely. I have enjoyed this conversation because it's so refreshing to find another professional that is on the same page as you and gets it and is passionate about making sure people have the tools that they need. So we can totally make that happen. I actually do have a platform specifically as it relates to education for consumers on skin and makeup, and that's through Blend Beauty. So we can totally get together and make something happen for sure.
All right.
Blend
so that's what
was
we're
the
gonna
name
do.
of my salon before. I used
Was
to have
it
a salon called Blend.
See, we were supposed to get together. I spell it BLND.
Okay.
BLNDBEAUTE.com.
All right.
Okay.
And we'll be all checking that out. So,
Yes.
Jalia, give us some of your final thoughts this evening on what we've been talking about.
Final thoughts, again, piggybacking on what Charla mentioned, is find a professional in your area. And as tough as that might be, because beauty is a personal journey, you might have to trial and error it a little bit, and that's okay. But it's important that you find someone that is going to cater to what your specific needs are. So that would be really my biggest um, word of advice to anybody that might be watching. And then if you are a beauty professional that's watching, I encourage you to continue to educate yourself, because we have to stay up on everything that's happening in the trends, just like our clients are, so that we're confident when they come to us and ask us questions that we can speak to it and give them the proper advice for them to be successful when they're not in our chair. So that would be
Mhm.
my pretty much my closing information.
All right. And I'll just give a very brief final words, and that is to make sure you go check these ladies out. That's the best advice I can give. And do your research, and don't be like me. Don't just see something and try to copy it. Because you're going to end up messing up something, possibly, whether it be on your skin or your hair. We need to be a little better educated as consumers. And just like when we buy a car or any other kind of big purchase, we do our research. We make sure we're getting, the best deal. We're making sure we crossing all our T's and dotting our I's. So we should do the same when it comes to our person. So I'm 100% behind the expert movement. What I call it is we're bringing experts back into the beauty game, and especially in these platforms that have been taken over by amateurs for the most part, and give people some additional options of people who actually know these areas. So again, I'd like to thank you ladies for joining us today. It's been a really cool discussion. I had a lot more I could have talked about, but we'll save that for another time. This is not going to be a one-time thing. So we'd love to have you back.
Okay.
And as I mentioned, I'd love to work more with you ladies to bring these issues and your services to our audience so they can take advantage of these things. And we'll fill you guys in on these things in the next few weeks or so. So make sure you go to BeautyLifestyleNetwork.com. Sign up for our newsletter on the site so you can find out what's going on with our next show and for these exciting partnerships that we're going to be working on. And also, make sure you check us out next week. We do this every Sunday at 7 p.m. And don't know the topic yet, but we'll have that up shortly. But again, thank you, ladies. We'll see you next Sunday, 7 p.m. And make sure you check out BeautyLifestyleNetwork.com.
For me, purchasing beauty products was not that great of an experience. I can remember when I was looking for makeup for my skin, and I had been using an organic makeup that I was getting from a very expensive grocery store. I didn't feel comfortable, like I had an opportunity to ask any questions about the product. And when I finally did get to a consultant and ask them, what's in this lipstick, what's in this, they really didn't know. So when it came to my hair, that was even harder. I would go into the beauty supply, and as you know, it's just aisles and aisles and aisles of product. But what I didn't know, what was right for my natural hair. And again, I was faced with the same dilemma. Who can I ask? nobody really knew anything about these products. They were just selling them. It wasn't a great experience not being able to get the right amount of information from the people who I was buying the products from. So that's one of the things that I love about the Beauty Lifestyle Network, is that it's a community of information as well as a bunch of great products that have been proven to really, really give you the look that you're looking for when it comes to your hair, skin, and body.